this is a type of repose or comfort for the traveler. In other words, there are many different roads that you can take to Allah. And because there are many different types of people. And one of the hallmarks of a true religion is that everybody can find their place in it. So if you have a religion that no longer has a philosophy, a philosophical dimension, where do the people that have philosophical minds go? If you have a religion that doesn't have a serious devotional practice, where do those people go? If you have a religion that doesn't allow for a very simple baseline practice for people that just aren't that religious, then where do they go? Religion has to encompass everybody. What you represent, most of you in this room have a serious commitment to your faith. Hopefully all of you, but most of you at least. I mean, some people might just be coming for the first time. They might be rediscovering their religion, or somebody might have convinced them to come. I don't know. But most of you are seriously committed to your religion. But you differ. Some of you are very scholarly, you like to read. Others, less so. That's just human nature. In any society, you're going to have a small number of people that are deeply devotional. Just to throw a number out there, maybe it's 10%. What do you do with the other 90%? If you alienate them and make them feel that they're horrible and odious and despised by God, you have a very bad situation. And in a lot of ways, that's what's happened in our Muslim community. We've made it so hard for people to be mediocre Muslims, which is very dangerous. And that's why difference of opinion is so important, because it allows for a much more welcoming space for people. And that's why the religion and the maqasid are so important for that reason. So what he says here is وَإِعَانَةٌ لَهُ عَلَى مَا أَرَادَ مِنْ بُلُوغَ الْعَرَبِ وَالتَّوَصُّلِ بِالْمُرَادِ. It also will help him to get to where he's going, to achieve his desire. وَالتَّوَصُّلِ بِالْمُرَادِ فَلِذَلِكَ اخْتَلَفَتْ طُرُقَ الْقَوْمِ وَوُجُوهُ سُلُوكِهِمْ. And for that reason, the paths of these people of seriousness in the religion, their paths are divergent. They have different ways of coming to God. فَمِن نَاسِكٍ يُثَرَ الْفَضَائِلِ بِكُلِّ حَالٍ. So there's people that are nasik, somebody who's really a ritualistic type person. He's got all of these fada'il that he can do. There's all these extra rituals that you can do. If that's your path, if you really like doing a lot of the rituals of Islam, there are many, many things that you can do throughout the day. Salat al-Tawwabin. Does everybody know that prayer? Salat al-Tawwabin? I mean, that's something, I know people that do that every single day. It's a long prayer. Duha. You know, all of the nafilah. If you do all of the nafilah, I mean, for those of you who've gone to Medina, you know that prayer can actually be a full-time job. Because when you're in Medina, it's pretty much the whole day is the 5 prayers in the masjid. It's amazing. And so that's the nasik. And then وَمِنْ عَابِدٍ يَتَمَسَّكُ بِصَحِيحِ الْأَعْمَالِ. And then there's the devotional person who is doing all of the correct actions that come down, all of these devotional actions. And then وَمِنْ زَاهِدٍ يَفِرُّ مِنَ الْخَلَائِقِ. And then you have the ascetic who wants to fast a lot, and he wants to avoid company and has a more solitary life. Did you see this, the nun? Do you know that nun? What was her name? Who recently, she just died. Who did the art history. What was her name? Nobody knows her? She was a Catholic nun. She wore a habit. And she had a British program explaining art to people. She was very famous, like 20 years ago, I think. You're all too young. Whatever you think. Huh?
Wendy Beckett?
Yeah, thank you. Sister Wendy. So Sister Wendy, she was a very solitary person, and somebody heard her at a museum explain. She had a PhD in art history, and she'd studied with Tolkien, and she had a Cambridge degree. She was a brilliant woman, but she was a completely solitary being her whole life. And somebody heard her giving commentary on some paintings at a museum, and they were a film producer, and they were so struck by it, so they convinced her to do this program. She became very famous. She hated it because she just wanted to be left alone. But she wouldn't pray in the church. She always was in the belfry, like when they did the practice in the church. So you have these people they're solitary beings. They just want to be alone with God. And they're very happy to be that. Uwais al-Qarni is like that. For people that know Uwais al-Qarni, he was like that. He lived in a cave. He didn't want to have anything to do with anybody. Omar met him on Hajj because he's a tabi'i, even though he was alive when the Prophet was alive and he believed in the Prophet ﷺ, but because he had so much birr for his mother, he didn't leave her to go see the Prophet. So he's considered a tabi'i. But he was like that. This is the melancholic nature. It's the nature of certain peoples that just really, they just want to be with God. And then you have the arif, يتعرق بالحقائق. Then you have these people that they're really interested in realities. ومن ورع أن يحقق المقام بالاحتياط. And then there's the people of wara'. Their scrupulousness, and they're very careful about everything they do. They're very careful about the food they eat. They're very careful about where their income comes from. They have this extra caution about everything. ومن متمسك يتعلق بالقوم في كل مناط. And then there's the people that cling to the people of Allah in everything that they do. ومن مريد يقوم بمعاملة البساط. And then there's the murid, the one who's in a state of service. So he says, وَالْكُلُّ فِي دَائِرَةِ الْحَقِّ بِإِقَامَةِ حَقِّ الشَّرِيعَةِ. All of them are in the circle of truth by establishing the reality of the Sharia and fleeing from what's negative or vicious.